So 2024 is coming to an end. You're going to be most likely watching this at the beginning of 2025. And I want to do the year in review on Fiverr for me, as running my agency on Fiverr, and what 2024 has brought to me on Fiverr as well, and give you my honest thoughts if 2025 is going to be the year where you should be focusing on Fiverr, you should be giving it a chance. You don't see my laptop, but it's right here. And as you can see, as I'm refreshing my page right now, honestly, 2024 has brought a lot of positives towards my Fiverr journey. So right now, as I'm recording this video, it has $376,000 made in 2024, which actually is more than what I did in 2023. So, but of course, it's not my record month. I think my record month was 2018 on Fiverr, where it was almost 600K in a year. And you know, guys, for watching this video, this is definitely possible. So when you are looking at my sort of a journey, you know, this is definitely possible. I feel Fiverr can definitely bring you this sort of revenue to be able to live how you want, to be able to travel how you want. It's basically running your agency. It simplifies the way of, you know, having your landing pages, having your funnels, having your marketing, automation, setup systems. And you know, people are saying yes, like it's competitive for sure. Everywhere it's competitive. But honestly, I do believe if you are serious about your brand, if you're serious about, you know, going in 2025 with like a fresher perspective, first of all, Fiverr is a good practice. You know, it's just a practice for you to test out your skills. Yes, at the beginning it might not be as smooth. And for me, honestly, looking at when I started Fiverr in 2017, 2016, it was really painful at that time, right? Because the thing is, I wasn't really thinking about, oh, this will bring me, income that I actually, planning to earn. I was never thinking about that this could bring me that potentially 6 or 7 figure revenue. For me, it was just a practice of my skills, being able to see if my skills are actually can be implemented for other businesses, if other businesses will find valuable information. So eventually it turned out to be a 7-figure business, but at the beginning it was not like this. And even in 2017, like when I look at my journey, yes, I mean, I was able to hit those 8K months, 10K months quite fast. You know, things were a little bit different. And of course, you need to be able to you have to understand that you cannot be focused on everything. Like if you're running your agency directly and on Fiverr and on other places, eventually you have to pick one place and give yourself a time. But I believe most people, when they say that Fiverr is not like, I'm not seeing results, is that they're not really taking it seriously, right? I've seen people where they really go, and that's what my philosophy was all the time. I was all about making sure you have a professional image, making sure you go as yourself, as a personal brand, making sure you're actually having the gig videos, because this is the most important thing, to have the gig videos. Otherwise, when people are looking at you, you're competing with all these people across the world, from different countries, right? When you don't even put your own picture there, it's totally a disaster. But when I look at the marketplace of Fiverr, and we can look at it together now, because that's why I feel there is not really much competition out there, right? So so these things are also happening sometimes on Fiverr. Actually, it sometimes happens when you use VPN or things like that. But I want to show you, like, even if you go to the marketplace, let's say if we go to the, we have AI services now, is there in my last videos, which actually, by the way, went viral. So if you came from the last video, thank you so much for coming back again. But when we look at the social media marketing category, like when I'm just looking at these gigs of people, okay, I see pictures of hopefully the actual freelancers, themselves, because many times they're using just a picture of like a photo stock, but it's there. But look, for example, you can see these ones are there, right? So there is still, when I look at this, I'm like, this has still so much potential. Like you can go out there, kind of like the industry shifted. I remember before no one was showing themselves, and now people are starting to show themselves more. But most people don't really have any video about themselves. Like, and I understand maybe your English is not a first language, maybe you're shy, maybe you're afraid, but it still should not stop you from having that video, because the impact, even like by you guys are watching this video and you're like, oh, Vasily, maybe he's saying something good, maybe he's not saying something good, but you are automatically deciding to watch this video longer or not, or subscribe to me or not, because you hear me speak, because you hear me provide you some valuable insights or some valuable thoughts as well, and you decide to continue listening to me. The same happens here, when you look at this, like when I'm looking at this, when people are using videos as those sort of like a video stock stuff, it just upsets me, because I believe this person can be benefiting much more and getting much more traffic, because when potential buyers from across the world, let's say US, they're looking at you, of course they want to work with a person, they want to work with someone who is actually real, who is actually understand their needs as well, and this personal impact is extremely important. Even though you're thinking that, okay, I might not be fluent, or I might not look, let's say, professional enough, but I can tell you, when I recorded my video in 2017, I was still a student. My English was pretty bad, to be honest, but I just went there as myself and I just recorded this video, and still you can see my journey, how it's been. And I think the most success I was able to get from this is just because of my image on Fiverr, because I was always passionate about these videos. I was like, I need to have this video, because I do believe if the buyer gives me a chance to watch a video, it will make a difference, and at that time I was not really thinking, do I speak correctly, do I make mistakes when I speak English, or do I look like young, maybe not very professional. I was not really thinking about it. For me, that was the main concept, just being me, being myself, being authentic, and I will definitely attract the people who want to work with me. Because it's really funny, but when you have this video and when you can able to provide your description of your services and describe about yourself, you can eliminate a lot of misunderstandings with the buyer, essentially, because you can explain to them what you're going to do, and then when they're going to message you, they're not going to be like asking you maybe those questions that if you will not have the video, they will ask you, you're like, oh, do you do this, how does it work? But in the video you can actually already answer a lot of these questions, and that will simplify things as well for you when you start to communicate with clients, when they start to order your service as well. That's one thing. The next thing is that people are saying, okay, I'm giving away 20%. I'm giving away 20%. For me, the thing is with Fiverr, even now, I'm really motivated. Obviously I love my service, but I would love some things to be better. But of course, because unfortunately in the industry I cannot make the things I want to make, because Instagram is very sensitive these days, is strict, so I have to eventually work with what I can, right? But I'm extremely passionate when someone leaves me a great feedback, when someone makes a point that, oh, your service actually brought me sales, brought me new connections. That's what motivates me, and especially when this happens on Fiverr, because I think for beginners, Fiverr is amazing because you can build that essential credibility. And then I remember when I was at university, I was trying to apply for jobs, just because I didn't know if Fiverr will be successful or not. So I was applying for jobs, and the only thing I was sending was my Fiverr profile. I had a very simple CV, it wasn't really not enough of information as I was, maybe as I should have. But I just had my Fiverr profile. I had probably like 100 or 200 reviews on my Fiverr profile. People were happy about my service, and that's what I was attaching towards my resume. And companies, they were looking at this and they were like, Vasily, we check out your Fiverr, you're doing an amazing job, we'd love you to be part of our agency, part of our company as well, because I was trying to apply for other marketing agencies, because I was offering marketing agency services, so I thought maybe with my Fiverr experience, I'm able to apply to these jobs, and then essentially they could, accept me or not. And I was surprised, like I applied to 10 of them, and probably it was like 6 companies that said yes, that we want to have an interview with you, we want to continue our conversation about this job. So I was really I was surprised. But now when I look at this, because we are hiring people all the time, we're always in search for talent, for designers, for other people as well, and I can definitely relate now, because when I'm looking at someone else, let's say CV, resume, I don't really care, like, okay, they have this education, they have this information, they have this experience, this is great. But I want to see what they actually done themselves, maybe portfolio, maybe they have some project they tried, because I think that's the biggest thing, when you're in your 20s, when you're just starting out, you want to try as much as you can. You want to try and give yourself a chance to be on Fiverr and work with clients. You want to give yourself a chance to maybe start another project, maybe learn about coding, maybe learn about app development, right, and just maybe launch your free first app. So you want to try to give yourself these chances of trying things, and that's what I gave myself a chance. In 20s, I was trying many things. I was trying to create an app as well for my coach, Fred. We were trying to come up with this, the whole story, the whole idea. And I think it was really successful, to be honest. Although we didn't made millions, it's still, we got users, we got feedback, and that built like a case study as well. So that is the most valuable thing. And when I look at 2025, what I'm gonna do in 2025, of course, I would like to scale. When I see this number, total earned, for example, you can see 2.3 million. I'm motivated. I want to get to 3, I want to get to 4, I want to get to 5, because I just want to try to, continue that. This is a big motivator factor. Of course, not just the money, but it's just in general, like you have 27,500 completed orders. I mean, these numbers speak itself, If you're starting just now at the beginning, don't get say oh, you jumped 8 years ago and you're lucky. No, you can start your journey right now, and then already in 1, 2, 3 years, these things can make a big difference. Maybe Fiverr, it's not going to be you should not pray for Fiverr and okay, this is going to be my only income, but you should maybe build, let's say, instead of okay, what I should do, a portfolio, website, you can just go on Fiverr, try yourself, build a profile, build a reputation, and then use this profile for your future references, for your future opportunities as well. Because it's not just I'm not getting in search, I'm not getting money in this, is that you are building your personal brand on the marketplace. Yeah, and then because people know about Fiverr, when you say to them in the jobs, in everywhere, say, oh, Fiverr? Yes, I know Fiverr. And then you say, oh, I actually have profile. I work with, let's say, 20, 50 clients. There, you can check out my profile. It's gonna be it's becoming more as a LinkedIn, right? But of course, LinkedIn, we all have information about ourselves. Most people don't create content on LinkedIn. Most people just, do a browsing. That's another opportunity that you should take. You should create content. You should document your journey on LinkedIn. But it's hard. It's not easy. People are not sure what to write about it. But on Fiverr, you really can test out your skills. You can come up with different services. You can, try to see, because the platform is going to be growing. The platform is going to be getting more users, more buyers. That's what their goal. Of course, when we say that, oh, Fiverr sometimes prioritizing buyers than sellers, okay, at some point they have to, and I'm not happy about this as well. Sometimes they release features for buyers but not sellers. I'm not too happy about that. But of course, they're trying to attract even more buyers, because that's what essentially bringing their growth, bringing their revenue as well, and they want to have their image as well. It should be better. Of course, they should have more corporations are using Fiverr. So that's why I would say it's maybe sad that they don't put a lot of time for sellers, but they're doing what they can. And for us as the sellers, we should not look and blame them all oh, they're not doing a good job. We should just use it as an opportunity. And of course, when we can speak out, we can speak out. So guys, I think 2025 is going to be interesting. That's why I'm passionate about Fiverr, because I feel it can serve multiple purposes, not just the money-making machine, but also credibility. So me, myself, I'm going to be, of course, continuing the journey in 2025 on my Fiverr and documenting my journey as well. And And I want to say, guys, thank you so much as well for all your support on this channel. I'm really excited as well that you guys can learn some new things, and you should expect 2025 more interviews, more Fiverr sellers, and more things are coming your way as well. Take care and see you soon, and thank you so much. And don't forget, you can go to my newsletter, freelancehustle.com, sign up for my newsletter, stay up to date because I have something big is coming for all of the sellers on Fiverr, and I think that's going to be very, very powerful. See you soon.